My husband faked his own death as a prank, and I accidentally broke his leg trying to save him. My husband faked his own death in our kitchen. I thought he was gone. I started CPR. He jumped up shouting it was fake. I shoved him in shock. He fell and broke his leg. That's it. Everything after is just people making it weirder. 6 years ago, I lost my fiance in an accident overseas. I still remember the sound on that call. Metal clanging, then static, then someone saying my name like it hurt to say it out loud. I dropped the phone. When I picked it back up, it was just dead air. That moment messed me up. After that, loud noises felt like alarms and silence felt like something bad was coming. 3 years later, I met Aaron through friends. He seemed nice, steady, the kind of guy who'd remember to preheat the oven and knew how I took my coffee. He worked in logistics but spent nights editing short videos, cooking clips, harmless pranks, little skits that got a few thousand views maybe. One went semi-viral once, this fake proposal at a beach that turned out to be a pizza box reveal. After that, he got obsessed with the numbers. Every story needs escalation, he said one night, tapping his laptop like he was dropping knowledge. We'd been together 2 years when it happened. Good years, I thought. He knew about my fiance. We talked about it maybe 3 times total because I didn't like going there. He always seemed understanding about it, patient. I thought that meant something. 2 nights ago, I came home to grocery bags on the counter, a shattered wine glass, and red streaks up the kitchen island. His feet were sticking out behind it, toes pointed the wrong way. My brain went straight to that phone call. I ran around the island and he was just lying there on his back, totally still, eyes half open, what looked like blood pooling under his head. I dropped down, rolled him flat, checked if he was breathing. Nothing. I told Siri to call 911 and started compressions. The tile was digging into my knees. My heart was going so hard I could hear it in my ears. 2 rounds in, he jolted up and screamed, "It's fake!" I jerked back and shoved him without thinking. He fell sideways into the lower cabinet. The crack sounded wrong. Final. He screamed again. I just froze there. He kept saying it's fake, like that was supposed to make any of this okay. The paramedics got there before I could even cancel. They worked fast. Splint, vitals, loaded him up. A cop came in after with a clipboard. His tone was super matter of fact, like he'd seen weirder stuff that week. "We'll log this as an unintentional injury concurrent with a staged scene recorded by the patient," he said. "You'll both get a copy of the report." Handed me a card with a case number and this pamphlet that said post-incident stress reactions. Honestly, that professional boring tone was the only thing keeping me together. Next morning, the house smelled like pancake syrup and metal. My hands felt sticky no matter how many times I washed them. My phone had 40 missed calls, 12 texts from Aaron, 2 from his sister Ellie, 1 from his mom, 1 from a reporter asking for a statement on the incident. I hadn't even looked at his laptop yet. When I finally looked, the tripod was still sitting there behind the rubber tree, little recording light still on. His laptop was open to a folder called Mortality Kitchen. First clip showed him setting everything up, adjusting the lighting, whispering to the camera, "She's going to freak." Big smile on his face. Then he hit record. I slammed the laptop shut, felt like I was going to puke, ran water over my hands and I could still smell that fake blood syrup. I texted him, "Delete everything. Don't call me. We're done." Ellie showed up around noon, eyes all red, hair a mess, mascara half rubbed off. "I told him not to," she said before I even opened my mouth. "He's so embarrassed. He said it was supposed to be about love and fear or something." Her hands were shaking when she handed me a bakery box, then quieter. "Mom thought maybe you could help with his hospital bill." I just stared at her. "He staged his death," I said. "You can tell your mom I'm not paying for props." Ellie nodded, eyes got all watery. "I just wanted to check if you were okay," she said. That part at least felt genuine. By evening, a friend texted me a link. Some random TikTok page uploaded a blurry screen recording of me doing compressions, cut off right before he sat up. Caption said, "She's a keeper. It's fake. Relax." Comments were all so real OMG and she overreacted and Aj couple goals. I reported it. 2 hours later, a meme page had it reposted. I flipped my phone over, stared at the fridge, tried to breathe like a normal person. The next day it blew up. Millions of views, hashtags, reaction videos. Someone tagged our city. A nurse told me later that Aaron posted a selfie from his hospital bed cast up in the air, caption, "She loves me to death." They'd given him side eye, but hospitals can't police what people post. The internet didn't see a crime scene. They saw content. That afternoon, some lady from an agency called. "We'd love to help you both reshape the narrative," she said, all cheerful. "People eat up forgiveness arcs." I asked how she got my number. "Your husband's submission," she said. I told her don't call again. She goes, "If you change your mind, timing is everything for brand safety." I hung up and sat there staring at my hands. Officer Morales called later to wrap up the report. That was the name on the card. "He'll get the EMS bill," he said. "If insurance gives you trouble, just attach the case number." His voice was calm, kind almost. "You didn't do anything wrong," he said quieter. That almost cracked me. Around 5, his mom called. She sounded exhausted. "He's devastated," she said. "Posted without thinking." He took it down now, then softer. When I saw that video, my hands went numb. For once, she didn't defend him, didn't beg me to forgive him. Just that one line that made it seem like she actually got it. I said thank you. That night, a coworker texted, "Don't let this make you smaller. You did what anyone would do." First time I cried since the kitchen. The sound surprised me. By day 3, the second half leaked. The shove, the fall, the scream. People flipped on him instantly. He texted, "This is out of hand." I wrote back, "It got out of hand when you hit record." He said, "Can we meet?" I said, "Daytime." Public. We met at a coffee shop by the hospital. He hobbled in on crutches, cast showing. Looked like he'd been practicing looking sorry. "I wanted to understand what you went through," he said, "when you lost him. I thought if I could see your reaction, I'd get it." I said, "So you filmed my grief to study it?" He said, "And to show how much you love me." I said, "You turned it into evidence." His face crumpled. I took it down. He said, "It's everywhere now." I said, "I'm losing everything." He said, "Good. Now you know what everything is," I said. Then he tried, "If you leave, this is our story forever. If you stay, we can make a new one. I said, you already wrote it. The title was A Tripod Behind a Plant. That night, I made a list. Lawyer, locks, passwords, separate account, copy of report, take cactus, leave mixer. Next morning, I called a lawyer. She'd done staged emergency cases before. Apparently, that's a whole thing now. Screenshot everything, she said. Build a timeline. File the papers. Don't talk to him except through me. The nonprofit I used to volunteer with reached out. They'd seen the video. Asked if I'd do a PSA about real emergencies. I did it in one take. If someone looks gone, call help, I said. If you know CPR, use it. Don't film emergencies. Don't test love with fear. The cost isn't clicks, it's trust. They posted it, people shared it, some made fun of it. I didn't look at the rest. That night his mom sent me a picture of her hand on a rosary. Praying for your peace, it said. No hashtags, no asking for stuff, just that. I saved it. 2 days later, I met him outside his place with a manila envelope, separation papers, and a copy of the incident report. We stood there like strangers at a bus stop. He said, I don't want to tell people like this. I said, you don't have to tell anyone. You could just log off. He looked lost. I don't hate you, I said. I just can't be in the same story anymore. He said, I wish you hated me. I said, that'd still make it about you. Then I left. When I got home, the syrup smell was finally gone. Tile was clean except one faint mark under the cabinet where his cast hit. The cactus sat by the window, rubber tree taller than I remembered. I stood there a while just breathing. Kept wondering if I could have spotted the camera sooner, if I could have stopped any of this. But honestly, the only mistake I made was thinking love and cruelty couldn't be in the same room. I didn't break his leg on purpose. I am walking away on purpose. Now everyone keeps saying I should forgive him, that people mess up, that marriage means working through anything. But what do you call it when the unimaginable wasn't an accident? Was I wrong for leaving when everyone wanted me to stay? Update, I found something else he filmed and it's so much worse. 3 weeks since I left. The story mostly died online. My name stopped trending. Memes got old. Thought the worst was over. Last week I went back to grab the rest of my stuff. Realtor said I had 2 hours while Aaron was at physical therapy. Brought a friend just in case. We were packing the bedroom when I noticed the air vent above the closet looked off. Screws were newer, shinier than the others. My friend said leave it. I couldn't. Got a screwdriver and popped it open. Tiny camera inside, the kind you'd never see unless you knew to look. Still recording. SD card almost full. My hands went ice cold. My friend called Morales right then. He showed up with another cop, bagged the camera, checked the whole house, found 2 more, one behind the bathroom mirror, one inside a fake plant in the living room, all pointed at spots where I'd sit alone, where I'd cry, places I thought were private. Morales asked if I wanted to see the footage to figure out how bad it was. Said no first, then said yes. Went to the station. He played 30 seconds, me on the couch 2 months back talking to myself about my dead fiance, crying so hard I couldn't catch my breath. Date stamp showed it was the night Aaron said he was working late. How long? I asked. Morales checked the files. 14 months looks like. 14 months of my grief, my therapy sessions, my worst moments, all on camera. What was he doing with it? I asked. Morales pulled up Aaron's cloud. Folder called Grief Study. Inside were clips labeled by emotion, crying, angry, number. Each one trimmed and sorted like I was a science experiment. One file said practice run. I watched it. Aaron in the kitchen 3 weeks before the prank, testing fake blood, checking camera angles, whispering, if this works, the grief clips make perfect backstory. He'd planned it for weeks. Studied my trauma to figure out how to weaponize it. Thought I was gonna throw up. My friend grabbed my arm. Morales started printing everything, filling out forms. This is surveillance without consent, he said. Stalking maybe depending on intent. We'll build it out. That night stayed at my friend's. Couldn't sleep. Kept thinking about every moment I thought I was alone in that house. I wasn't. Next day Ellie called. Mom found something, she said, voice shaking. Dad went through Aaron's old laptop. There's this document, like a pitch deck for a show. She sent screenshots. Title page said, The Grief Experiment, a Love Story. Summary laid out his whole plan. Date a widow. Film her healing. Stage a fake death to test the bond. Capture the reaction. Raw emotion equals raw views. Budget breakdown and everything. Equipment costs. Projected ad revenue. How many subscribers he'd get. He'd literally calculated what my pain was worth in dollars. Ellie kept saying sorry. I knew he cared about views, but I didn't think. She stopped. We're done defending him. Mom's horrified. I told her I knew it wasn't on her. She said, I'm sorry he was my brother before I knew what that meant. That afternoon, Aaron's lawyer called mine. Wanted to negotiate. Drop charges if he takes everything offline and we sign an NDA. My lawyer laughed at him. Your client committed crimes, she said. We're not negotiating. Aaron tried texting from a new number. I know it looks bad, but I can explain. Blocked. Tried email. You're taking this out of context. I loved you. Forwarded it to Morales. He texted back. Got it. Don't reply. Week later, local news ran it. Man arrested for filming wife without consent, staging fake death for content. Didn't use my name, but used his. Went viral again, except this time people weren't split. Comments were all some version of what's wrong with this guy. Someone dug up his old YouTube, went through the comments. He'd been asking people for months what prank would test real love. People told him it was a terrible idea. He did it anyway. My therapist said I should feel vindicated maybe. Mostly I just felt tired. Sad for the version of me who believed him when he said he'd never use my pain against me. Morales called yesterday. He took a plea, he said. Guilty on the surveillance charges. No jail but probation. Mandatory counseling. Has to delete everything. We'll verify and monitor. Pause. You doing okay? I said. Getting there. That night went back one last time. Camera's gone. Tripod gone. Smelled like nothing. Just air and dust. Grabbed the cactus off the windowsill and left the keys on the counter. I didn't break his leg on purpose. Didn't film his death on purpose either. But maybe the only way to survive someone who turns your life into content is to stop giving them any more footage. If someone turned your trauma into their love story, would you fight back or just disappear? If you made it this this far, thanks for sticking around. This one's been sitting with me for a while. What gets me isn't just the betrayal itself, it's how many voices she had in her ear telling her to stay, how grief became material, how someone's worst day turned into a calculated content plan. That shift from person to product is something I think about a lot with these stories. I go through every comment you leave because honestly that's where the real conversation happens. You all see angles I miss. You share perspectives that completely reframe these situations. And for the people who submit, knowing their story resonated with strangers, that their experience mattered enough for thousands of people to stop and think about it, that means something. Speaking of submissions, if you've got a story that's been weighing on you, there's a link in the description at AmITheJerk.com/submit. A lot of people tell me that just writing it out, putting it somewhere outside their own head is half the battle. Even if your story doesn't make it into a video, we post tons of submissions on our Am I the Jerk Instagram so people can discuss them there too. Sometimes you just need to know you're not the only one who went through something, or that your reaction wasn't as crazy as everyone around you made it seem. The link's there if you need it. Alright, that's it for this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next time. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk here on YouTube and Spotify so you don't miss if your story gets shared.